also depends on the areas, of course.
Exactly, exactly. Here, areas of high unemployment, then the demand goes through the roof, same thing again.
But the advantage of DSS is it's longer term.
Yeah.
But that really says, you know, as a subtext, that's the longer term DSS. That are going to be
Yeah,
term
as I said, you know, it's you're always going to take your chance. You could get a 6-month AST tenant in who rents privately from you. After 6 months, they're gone. Or you could get a DSS to a person who suddenly finds a job. Doesn't mean then they're suddenly in a position to start renting privately. Chances are, if they've got a salary coming in, you know, how many people are quite happy to change properties just because their salary increases a little bit? You know, there aren't that many. They'd rather stay where they are and carry on paying the rent because that's where they've settled in. Unless it's a case of they go from earning, what's job seekers allowance, 8 pence a year or something like that. You're suddenly on 50 grand a year, you're not going to be staying in the same council house. Chances are you'll rent privately. But DSS, you know, it's to get over this whole misconception that DSS are a bad risk. They're not. But you have to look, if you bought a property for £200,000, are you going to rent that to DSS? Chances are no. If you rent one bought one for £60,000, then yes, very differently. And anyone who's followed AJ and look at the prices he pays for properties, only one property AJ has that's worth over about £130,000. Guess what that is? Exactly. No, it's where he lives. He doesn't even pay that for HMOs. But that's the thing. It's a case of understanding your tenants, who they are, what they are. You know, nothing's guaranteed. As I said, 6 months down the line, they could say, I've got a job now and I'm moving on. But if you're looking at lower value properties, DSS are always a better option, purely because the chance you get more.
It kind of qualifies your point, and that is that DSS are good tenants for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
One of them is they tend to be longer term.
Exactly.
But by definition, we're really talking about the longer term DSS people who are
Yeah.
going to be longer term.
Yeah.
So, you know,
But just because they're long-term DSS, I mean, it could be because of their age, the fact that they're in their 50s, they just can't get a job. They could be on incapacity benefits, they can't work through ill health, things like that. It's, you know, and this is, you can, as I said, it's your property. You can dictate within reason who you want to live there. So what you say is, I'm looking for people, you know, couples in their 50s or in their 60s. If they're long-term DSS, he ain't going to suddenly go out and get a high-flying job, realistically, without sounding horrible. That's the reality of life. So you take an educated bet then.
I've got a single parent with 3 children in one of my properties, and she moved into that to be nearer her mother.
Yeah.
And she warned me that she might be there for the next 18 years.
So you rubbed your hands together. She's on your Christmas card list for life, isn't she? You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no.
No wonder you're looking to keep your property.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
My experience is that the DSS tenants I've got fully expect to be DSS long term.
Yeah. It's a career aspiration for a lot of them, you know, without sounding too harsh. I can say that because I'm hoping all of you work, because otherwise you're not going to be investing a penny if you're not working right now. So yeah, exactly.
I mean, the benefits they get by not working.
Yeah, yeah.
The fact that they have also got another job to get some other income in as well.
Yeah.
And,
But then this is where
everybody's like that.
no, exactly. But this is where, as I said, it's your property. You decide who lives in there. But be realistic. You know, as I said, AJ won't rent to you know, couples, young couples, or couples under the age of 25. Or you'll ask them, how long have you been together for? Because, as I said, 3 months down the line, they suddenly hate each other and they're splitting up. Well, chances are they're not going to keep the property. So, as I said, it's just making educated decisions on it. Yeah, I shouldn't have said educated bets, educated decision. So, again, finding the right tenant, we covered this off anyway, depends on you, depends on what your criteria is. You know, I've been on this planet too long to think that there's nobody in this world that's prejudiced. So if you have a certain prejudice, then chances are you're not going to rent out to certain types of people. You know, as I said, if somebody cannot manage a good level of English, like me, English, then chances are when it comes to things like doing documents, ASTs, contracts, legal financial documents, standing orders, direct debits, if that can't be completed properly, you can have an issue. You know, if somebody says after 6 months I'm not paying my rent anymore because I can't understand this document you made me sign, you then have a problem on your hands. So as I said, educated decisions. The other thing to think about as well is your lender. Lenders nowadays, they will ask you what type of tenants you're looking to rent out to. Are they students? Are they DSS? Are they illegal immigrants looking for, you know, 1 month, 3 month type tenancies? Things like that. These are questions they will ask. Other thing to look at, the property. So if you had a one-bedroom flat, are you going to rent that out to a family of 4? If you can, yeah, exactly. And you ain't leaving for 18 years. Yeah. So be realistic about the properties you're looking at. You know, I'll say it again, due diligence. You look at your areas. If you're going to buy in a certain, a certain area, and there's so many, I'll say it again, so many websites you can look at My Street and places like that, websites like that will tell you average ages. You know, how many families are there, unemployed, single parents, things like that. It's pointless buying a 3-bedroom home if the main demand is for 1-bedroom flats. So again, just look at what's out there and look at the areas you're looking to invest in. You know, places like London nowadays, people understand the fact that London's not worth touching. Even though the rental demand is there, the rental figures do not stack up against purchase prices. There are very few properties in London that will actually pay for themselves. You know, people think, I've got an 8% yield on a property in London. Yeah, great. But you're trying to get anything repaired on it, and the costs go through the roof. So, single parents, what type of properties would you put those into?
2 beds.
Yeah, exactly. Two-bed properties. Flats, ex-council authority, perfect for things like that. One thing to look out for if you're doing single parents, things like gardens, stuff like that. Pointless putting them up on a, 20-store tower block when they've got young kids, things like that. Try and match your properties with the demand in the area. There's lots of single parents or young families, things like that. Look for places that have gardens. Makes a big difference. You've got a garden, you can put a couple of pounds on your rental costs.
Probably means they don't look after it.
Assumption, not guaranteed. A private tenant, are they going to get the lawnmower out on a Sunday morning? No. Nothing's ever written in stone. You might find a DSS tenant whose part-time job is a gardener. They're doing it on the side, they're not telling anyone. So, they might give you an immaculate garden. You'll get nominated for garden property of the year or something in your local town. So you can never assume things like that. Reality is, if you're renting out a property and it's a cheap property, then that then determines the type of tenants you have in there. But it doesn't mean they're all bad, and doesn't mean they're all good. Couples, again, studio flats, small apartments, great DSS ones. As I said, be aware of service charges. Speak to the council, see how much it is, see how long the leasehold's for as well. That can have an impact on your lender. Whether it's 999 years or 9 years will have an impact on that. And it's the same thing again, young couple might like to have a garden or a balcony, entertaining, barbecues, whatever they're going to do. Some dodgy websites filming each other, don't know. But just, as I said, match the couple with the property. And then families, 2-bed, 3-bed, excellent. Ex-council authorities out there nowadays, lots of properties up for sale. Get some good deals on them. So ex-council authority again on that. And chances are if they're a family, again, a garden. I'm not saying don't go for flats at all. Flats do suit a lot of people in certain areas, but if you can get a good deal on a house with a garden or a ground floor flat with a garden, then great, it does make a difference. Even if they don't cut the grass, you're charging them 50 quid a month more for it. So get a gardener in once a month and do it for them.